Happy 11/11. 11/11 is one of my favorite dates and numbers. It's very significant to me. My name is Shishi O'Donnell, and I'm a life, love, and relationship coach. And I'm going to be sharing on the topic of how to live a divine life. And today we're going to learn 3 techniques to bring the light into the darkness. And I know many of you, if you're listening, you already are on the spiritual path. Obviously, you're spiritually awakened. That's why you're drawn to this beautiful 11/11 Unify. And I'm honored to be presenting today. And I would love to share a little of my story of how 11/11 was significant to me to start out. So 11/11 is the awakening code. It's kind of like basically an alarm clock that goes off to remind you that it's time to get onto your soul's purpose. And when we're in the regular life, we have this veil of forgetfulness when we come to Earth, and we're in this dual plane. And then basically from childhood, if anyone who's here was raised in this 3rd dimensional vibrational frequency, which is a lot of lack, fear, scarcity, stress, separation. And, that's how I was raised. And in that paradigm, you live a certain way. And I was in this path of like workaholic, doing sales jobs. My last job was director of business development for an internet company, and I worked next to the Board of Trade in downtown Chicago. And I started seeing 11/11s on every clock, everywhere, right after I had a very significant tragedy. So my wake-up call was a combination of a crisis in my own life and my family's life. But my sister had passed away shockingly at age 20, and she was very healthy and athletic. One day she went to the doctor with a sore throat and a headache, and then within a week, all her major organs had failed, and they were testing it all over the world, and no one figured out what it was that caused her death. So on her autopsy, it actually said fever of unknown origin. So I loved my sister Maureen. She was a light, so much fun, so beautiful. And this really shocked me into awakening from this automatic pilot lifestyle I had been living. I'd been married for 8.5 years in my 20s. My husband was a workaholic, worked for a restaurant group as director of operations. So he probably worked 80 hours a week. And I was working maybe 60 to 70 hours a week, 7:30 a.m. meetings, high heels, suits, and exhausted and not really having fun. We had a beautiful place, we had money, but I wasn't feeling fulfilled. And so when my sister died, it really just was like screeching halt, like, what am I doing? And I went really into a deep depression for about 6 months. I was just devastated, questioning everything. I had been raised super strict Catholic, 16 years of Catholic education. You could say I drank the Kool-Aid. I did have a lot of fears about how my sister, what happened to her when she passed. And someone luckily gave me a book called Embraced by the Light, which was my first metaphysical book. And there was no judgment, to my great relief. It told the story of a woman who went to the other side. She was pronounced dead for 20 minutes. Her name's Betty Eady. She happened to be Catholic. And the story she told was so beautiful, her experience, and then after I learned a little more about it, hundreds of thousands of people have a very, very similar experience, from the Aboriginals in the middle of Australia to the New Jersey housewives. Could they all be making this up? And I started to just feel so much inner peace and faith at the idea of Maureen, my sister, going into the arms of Jesus or God or whoever, all our relatives who crossed over, and celebrating and seeing, look how you did on your life. And you have this life review where you experience everything, not only from your perspective, but from the side of the other person you were interacting with. So you have this split second where you see your entire life from birth to death. And then you kind of talk with your guides and angels and say, well, how did that relate to love? And what did you learn? And anyways, it was such a beautiful depiction and story that I felt this excitement. It was the first thing that started to heal my heart of just extreme grief, that this hope that Maureen could be in a better place. And I started to really get my faith activated, and I started being led to other books. And this is the time that I started to see recurring numbers. So this happened after I got quiet and I started to be open, and then I started to listen. I canceled all my stuff, cable TV, stopped opening everything. I got separated from my husband. I was in a very, very quiet place and meditating, which I'd never done really meditating, just being quiet. The only thing I listened to actually were 2 CDs. One was basically a 53-minute never-ending song by Harold Grandstaff Moses called The Drone, which is the song of the spheres or the song of creation. It's so beautiful, and it just sounds like this, pretty much like that. I'm sure my neighbors thought I was insane. I just played it constantly. And then I played another chakra clearing with, it was called Wheels of Light. And so it was harp music. So those are the only two things I played for about 6 months. But that, I got to tell you, was magic. And I started being led to other books. I read Conversations with God, and that blew me away. What, you mean I don't have to be Mother Teresa, the saint, and God's not up there going like, you better do a good job in your life, otherwise I'm not going to love you. But it's really basically in the crux of that book message is that you are here to decide and declare in the highest vision and the highest version that you can of your life. You know, what is it? And you just do it and be it. That's all God wants from us. So that was super inspiring. And I started to realize I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to write songs. So I told God, like, I want to be a singer-songwriter. And I started channeling songs, and just all these songs came through me just very quickly. It was so beautiful. And I actually went to a singer-songwriter open mic and sang, the first song I ever wrote was called Waking Up. And I sang that, and synchronistically, there was a producer in the audience that night, and he loved that song. And he said, do you have any other songs like that? And I said, not yet. And he said, well, let's record that one and see. So within a year and a half, we had created a beautiful album called Waking Up, and I had my first CD release party on 11/11/2000 at the Hot House in Chicago. And I felt, now this is more like it. I'm living my life on purpose. I felt my sister behind me giving me wings of, strength. And I felt like this is what life is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be drudgery of working, and you have money and who cares? It doesn't make you happy. So I was basically still doing my job, but I was sometimes perusing the internet for different metaphysical articles, and I ran across an article that said, do you want to be an emissary of light? And those words just leapt off the page at me, and I was like, yes, I do. And I read this article, and it was channeled by Archangel Michael. Now, I had heard of Archangel Michael being raised Catholic, but I didn't know he was actively working with people on Earth nowadays. So I kind of read this like with great interest. Here is him communicating now, saying, dear ones, like if you want to be an everyday earth angel or a light worker, say yes and I will use you. So I was like, dear Archangel Michael, I kind of wrote this letter tongue in cheek. I want to be on the team. That's what I want to do, is be an everyday earth angel. If you're serious, I'm serious. Give me a sign. And I signed the letter. It was April 2001. And I put it in my desk drawer and kind of forgot about it. So meanwhile, one of my friends had given my CD Waking Up to her friend who lived in Denver. And one day I get a phone call that says, is this the illustrious Sheila O'Donnell? I've been listening to your CD nonstop on repeat. It's some of the highest vibration music I've ever heard. And I'd love to book you to sing at some Body, Mind, Spirit festivals in Asheville, North Carolina and Denver. So I was so excited. Like I finally had a new thing that was in alignment with my soul. And I became friends with this person. His name was Larry Contier. And then one day he said, I'm going to swim with the dolphins. I can't wait. And I just said, I've always wanted to swim with the dolphins. And he said, well, just say the word and you can go. And I just said, word. And I was kind of joking. But he said, well, he put me on hold and just started booking this $5,000 trip at the Waikoloa Hilton in Kona, Hawaii. And I was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, this is $5,000. I can't pay you back. And he's like, this is 100% a free gift. I feel guided to give this to you. There are no strings attached. My only request is that you don't cancel because it's non-refundable. And I just knew, I didn't know him very well, but I just felt just a resounding yes in my soul. So this is another synchronicity. I say yes. I go on this trip, a free $5,000 trip. He doesn't tell me the details when I get there. This is a retreat led by Doreen Virtue, and she's written 22 books about angels. And the very first day she was channeling Archangel Michael. So that was 3 months almost to the day that I'd written that letter to Archangel Michael. And I thought, wow, I guess this is the start of my everyday earth angel training. And Doreen did some readings, personal readings for all the people who were there. And she told me, you're very intuitive, you're psychic, you could be doing what I'm doing. You're claircognizant, which is clear knowing. You're clairaudient, which is being able to channel and hear songs and messages. And She gave me a scholarship to her angel therapy practitioner training program. So I did that in 2002, and that's how I started exploring my intuitive gifts and learning. And it's been an incredible ride. So another synchronicity was at the Hawaii retreat, there was a gentleman named Charles Ottaway who lived in Santa Monica, who synchronistically happened to be going to Europe for 3 months that fall. And he said, well, why don't you just sublet my place? And I literally packed up my Ford station wagon, threw away all my monkey suits, and drove to California. And I went from being a corporate person to literally kind of like a hippie with wings on. Every day I wore wings, Venice Beach, doing readings, playing guitar and singing. And so that was the last job I had that was a real grown-up job. And that's when I started my everyday angel career. And it's amazing what an incredible journey it's been. So for those of you who've had your spiritual awakening and you're on your path, I know you know, it's magical when you get into that fifth dimensional vibrational frequency, which is this reality of love, unity. This is the new earth we're stepping into and building together as a team. You know, cooperation, not competition, you know, creativity exploding, and resources and abundance for all, and celebrating. And that's my life. And you also, with this heaviness that I know I'm not going to be all Pollyanna, like love, glad town, only the reality is there's a lot of darkness in the world right now as well. And even as a light worker, over these 20 years, there have been many beautiful moments where I feel like I'm just surfing this fifth dimension, and then I will crash and fall into fear and stress. And, you know, it has not been just all lollipops and rainbows. There have been some challenges. In fact, I think at one time early on, take a job working for this National Audit Defense company for like a couple days. And I remember in my interview, he said, we sell fear and greed here. And I was like, wait a second, this doesn't sound right. I don't think that's a job for an everyday earth angel. I was at the time desperate for money because I was not, whatever, it was probably raining and I couldn't make any money. And it very clearly showed me many times when I chose my monkey mind and fear-based choices versus my heart-based trusting. And every time I trusted, I was always given the resources and the miracles that would happen. I would often be told, go to this place, and I would show up and meet someone, or, you know, a homeless person, give them something, and I would find that person. And that was really the beautiful parts. And then there are also parts filled with stress and fear and pain and darkness. And being an empath, as many of us are, I'd like to give you some tools to how to have a divine life. And when you feel challenged and you're feeling the heaviness, of how to release that and to reconnect with your soul, and give 3 tools that you can use to help you remember your divinity and to basically activate and spark you so that you're filled up. So the first thing is acceptance. Some days you're just not having a great day and you're forgetting the truth of who you are. We all have amnesia. We have this, veil, and all of a sudden you forgot that you're divine, at times, and life feels like the grind and it feels stressful. And as an empath, you may be taking on a lot of the sadness and stress and fear of the world. There's a lot of fear, uncertainty, suicidal thoughts, People are feeling lost and very depressed. And if you are a light worker like me, which I'm sure you are, you've been having your share of having to navigate this energy and to clear yourself. So the first thing is awareness of being able, just like your gas gauge on your car shows you when it's empty, that's good news. It's like letting you know you're running out of gas. Sometimes we are, as light workers, running out of gas because we haven't done enough to refill up our tanks. So here are some ways that you can fill up your tanks. One is clearing. So for me, going in the backyard and connecting with nature, everyone knows that. You put your feet on the ground and you breathe so deeply, and you get to a place of 0 point energy where you feel, you're not elated and you're not depressed. You're getting to this place of nothing, and I picture like a waterfall of light coming and pulling, and then like molasses coming out of the bottom of my feet, anything that's not of the highest vibration of unconditional love leaving me. Of course, chakra clearing. You can tune into the incredible power of Mama Gaia to heal us and to clear us. And guess what? When we synchronize our heartbeat with the heartbeat of Mother Earth, we have more synchronicities. Synchronize to get more synchronicities. So that's one thing that I often suggest is nature. And then chakra clearing, of course, and the two most important ones are the heart chakra. So if you want to with me, just put your hands on your heart and just see how quickly you can go from 0 to 60 or 100. You say, picture a puppy or a kitten, for example, whichever one you love more, and your heart, my heart just like explodes. Oh my God, it's so cute. That feeling of just like delight and love and just bursting from your heart. I mean, in 1 second, you can get heart-centered from being mental, monkey mind, worrying about the past or the future or just going through life, You get into your heart. That's why we're here, is to be in that beautiful heart-centered space. So, and then when you feel that love in your heart toward a puppy, send it in on your own inner child. Picture you at age 2 or 3 years old. Pick yourself up, hug yourself, love yourself. I picture a moment with my dad just kissing me and making me laugh so hard when I was probably about 2 or 3 or 4. And it just immediately puts a smile on my face. And I just send my inner child so much love. Sometimes I'll say, I love you out loud like 1,000,000 times if I'm feeling really low. But just getting your heart open again, that's the miracles every moment frequency. That's the 5th dimensional vibrational frequency, the unified field of oneness. That's what we're creating with this new earth team that we're all on. To be in this heart-centered place is basically end game. That's what we're here to do. And it can be challenging when you're fraught with all this interactive video game stuff that we have on planet Earth, which is like black goo being thrown at you from every direction. And you're still like, puppies, kittens, love. It's that is number one strength. And then the second one is the solar plexus, which is your sun, your inner sun. And when you are charged up with that, and I see it as, picture the sun in the center of our solar system, which is connected to the grand central sun in the center of the multiverses, connected to our creator, and it's shining through you as you. And when you remember that you're divine, everything changes. You can't feel insecure. You don't feel unworthy. You don't feel afraid because you remember you're one with all that is and that you're an individualized aspect of all that is. So I want you to picture this beautiful sun shining, and that's what you're a star. The sun is a star. You're a shiny, sparkly human being / spiritual being having a human experience. And when you remember you're divine, everything changes. And that's also the 5th dimensional vibrational frequency, which is that new earth vibration that we're creating that's ascending. The earth is ascending and this old 3rd dimension is collapsing, but we've got some time in between the birth of the new earth. And what is this new earth? We're all building it brick by our choices. So after you do some things to fill up your resources like chakra clearing, connecting to the earth, pick up a phone, call your best friends, play one of your favorite songs, whatever gets you into that bliss and oneness state and feeling happy and inspired, that's your divine state. That once you have that, then you can connect to your intuition and be guided with the next steps. You're never told like do this, and this, and a whole bunch of other steps. You're only given in each now moment the next step of what you're supposed to be doing. So when you follow that, that's where the miracles every moment happen. Like, where should I go? What do I do? What do I say? And to whom? Marianne Williamson says that. You get a little inspiration to pick up the phone and call someone. Surprise, surprise. Now you just got invited to speak at an event, and you're just, I feel like that's what I'm doing. When I'm living my life, on track and really in the flow, it's just like a series of assignments, and it's ease and grace, and these doors open, and I just show up for my everyday earth angel job. However, I have to do the work to be clear enough to be able to hear the guidance, to be able to show up for quote unquote work / play, which is our life path. I'm passionate about helping people remember who they really are, about empowerment, and to embody your divine sovereignty. So I have a 12-week Divine Life coaching program, and I touch on the attributes of a divine life, which are all the beautiful things, the new earth things, love, heart-centered way, connecting, with God, the angels, with each other, connection to all. Synchronicities, miracles every moment, celebration, creativity. We're made in the image and likeness of the Creator, and we are happiest. We can only watch so much Netflix, as you've probably seen during the quarantine. How much Netflix can we watch? How many other people's, video games or creations? It's nice, it's fun, but it's not as fulfilling as when you are bringing something new to the world. So creativity is a huge part of it, and I help people to determine what it is their life purpose is, and declare their divine life purpose statement, and to create a vision that's greater than themselves, guiding them forward, a heart-centered vision, which is very, very empowering and beautiful. And I'd love to invite you to learn some of these things that have a free divine life activation meditation on my website. And the first 10 people who sign up for it, I will give a free 15-minute mini reading, channeled reading, $50 value. So you can go to my website, liveadivinelife.com, and sign up for a free divine life activation meditation. And the first 10 people to sign up will receive a free mini angel reading, a 15-minute reading from me. So go to liveadivinelife.com, sign up, and I will be happy to connect with you and channel some information from your angels and help to guide you on this path of really living a divine life to the highest version that you possibly can. Thank you for listening, everyone. I'm sending you so much love from my heart to yours. Many blessings. You are love, you are light, you are one with God. You are divine, you are divine. Remember the truth and breathe. You are love, you are light, you are one with God. You are free, believe. You are limitless and eternally blessed. You are one with God. You're divine. You are love.